the near future. The apocalypse has had an apocalypse. A rogue cyborg army is reshaping the world into cyber hell. And only one thing can stop them.
Let's show them how cyber commandos get it done. Mark Force style, motherfucker!
You know, Jason, some people don't like the 80s.
Who? Communists?
Yes. Communist, well, you know, mostly cyber communists from Ivan Drago's Russian state. But
It's the worst kind.
fortunately, not you or I, because if we did, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon would be a serious drag.
As it is not a serious drag. It is the greatest thing since Jesus Christ.
So are you, how long have you started converting Ladyboy Tequila slaves into your disciples for the new Blood Dragon religion?
I'm thinking there needs to be another splinter group.
Uh-huh.
A new religion, a religion of loading bar followers, called the Church of the Holy Rex. Rex Power Cult.
Well, you say, power be with you and also with you.
No, we say, what do we say? Eat a dick, monkey fucker.
Was that one of the things that he says in this game?
I think that's what it was, yes. It was amazing.
Folks, if you have been living under a rock for the last, 6 months or so and haven't heard, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is out, and holy shit, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I mean, check this out. In the far-flung year of 2007, Mark IV Cyber Commando Sergeant Rex Power Colt, voiced by Michael Biehn, must confront and defeat an army of Omega Force cyborgs on an island with blood dragons and lasers and neon and 80s music and holy shit, what?
And
I mean,
awesomeness.
yeah, I mean, like that. I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe this. I'm trying to think of a way. I'm trying to think of a mindset of a human being who doesn't have a kind of weird love for cheesy 80s like cyber action movies. I'm trying to sell this to them, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if that's even
I don't think
possible.
you can explain it. It has to be experienced.
Yep.
It's like, and even if you haven't experienced it, if you haven't seen those movies, if you didn't grow up with them, which a lot of people playing the game or listening to this will not have,
Right.
You will still have to appreciate just the bug nuts insanity that is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. And what's even more is it's $15, and it is just it's DLC for an existing game, and it's actually better than the existing game.
Yeah, I think that I think that no matter how you feel about the 1980s as a decade, that we can all agree that this, instead of like, we're adding on an extra island and a new threat that you have to face down as Jason Fuckbrains or whatever his name was in Far Cry 3, and this takes place, it's a prequel where you have to play as Voss doing the... Actually, that sounds pretty cool. I shouldn't.
But yeah, I was like, I was shaking my head at that until you said you get to play as Voss. And I was like, wait, whoa, yes.
In fact, the only thing that might have made this game better is if somehow they had managed to shoehorn Cyber Voss in at some
Cyber
point.
Voss.
But no, and the thing about this that is the awesome part about this is that you cannot walk like 10 steps in this game without tripping over a reference to some kind of classic 80s thing. I mean,
For example.
Where to start? I mean, the video has been posted like 4 times, you guys, on our happy hour. This guy explaining all the different references. But I mean, the game starts in the first 10 seconds with you in a cyber helicopter shooting a laser Gatling gun while Long Tall Sally plays, and from there, there's also there's 2 Predator references in the first like 10 minutes of this game. I know I've said that before, but it bears repeating. How many other games have any Predator references in them, let alone 2 in the first 10 minutes?
Yes. It is laden with it. So much that it's just gratuitous. And I think the game's brevity, because it is a short game.
Yes.
It really takes advantage. It packs as much into that as possible. I think if the game were longer, all of those references and the satire and everything would really be overboard.
Yeah, it would. I mean, this game was just long enough to the point where when you got to the end, it kept switching things up and giving you new options and giving you new stuff to play with. And right about the time it was over was right about the time that it should have been over. Because if it had gone on for another 2 or 3 hours, it would have started to just get dull, which, quite frankly, kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah. This is just a non-stop crazy parody of 80s post-apocalyptic action films. I mean, it is oversaturated with bad dialogue, cheesy 8-bit cutscenes, ridiculous weapons, ridiculous names, ridiculous characters. It's completely absurd, and it's glorious in its excess.
Yep. And I guess we should give a brief description here. If you haven't played Far Cry 3 for some reason, Far Cry 3, I mean, it's basically a first-person shooter in an open-world setting where you have the game itself is comprised of 7 story missions, but this one, I think it's like a third of the size of Far Cry. Is it a third or is it half?
It's like the map?
The map, yeah.
Yes, I don't know, something like that.
It's a sectioned off chunk of the map from Far Cry 3 that basically has been painted with the paintbrush of cheesy awesome, from the sky textures to the fact that everything is pink and neon and purple and crazy glowing the entire time.
And the soundtrack, like they actually got like John Carpenter. They didn't really, but it sounds like it, to do the soundtrack.
Yeah, Power Glove did the soundtrack to this, and they do it. I mean, they obviously have some love for this, cheesy synth 80s soundtrack stuff, because it's just cheesy enough to get in your head and make you hum along with it, but not so cheesy that you end up like hating it by the end of the game. Like every time the battle theme kicks in, you're like, yeah.
There are some other wonderful musical surprises in there that I don't want to spoil.
Absolutely.
Some stuff towards the end, like the montage.
Yes,
there is a montage, and it's amazing.
Of course there's a montage. So yeah, the basic structure of this game, you have 7 individual story missions, which, I mean, Jason, you kind of beelined from the beginning to the end of this game. How long would you say it took you to do all those?
I would say, I screwed around a little bit, so I would say about 4 hours.
Okay, that sounds about what I had. There's 7 story-driven missions. There's 13 forts for you to liberate. There's actually a crap load of, like, in Far Cry 3, and here as well, you had these side missions where Far Cry 3, there were like hunting missions where you would go hunt down individual animals which populate deadly animals which populate the island with different guns. But here they kind of switched up a little bit, because sometimes it's kind of more of a tongue-in-cheek story-driven thing. Sometimes you're not hunting animals, you're hunting specific soldiers. And then there's also a series of missions where you have to rescue these scientists. There are a billion collectibles, VHS tapes, boxes to open,
televisions to look at, files to pick up, and just like Far Cry 3, this game is wonderful in that you can just straight up buy a map that shows you all that shit, so you don't have to go looking for 100 pigeons, Grand Theft Auto, or 100 flags, Assassin's Creed. In fact, doesn't he make a wisecrack about when he's picking up I think he makes a wisecrack when he's picking up the tapes about something like, at least it isn't more fucking flags or something like that. Yes, he does. And yeah, Michael Biehn as the voice of Sergeant Rex Colt, or Rex Power Colt, he is given just some ridiculous, profane, over-the-top dialogue. And so he's always throwing little stuff in like that. It's,
I mean, you would think
pretty amazing.
You would think they should have cast Schwarzenegger for the number of one-liners they have in here. Like, I mean, I almost fell out of my chair down onto the floor in shock when Michael Biehn as Sergeant Rex Power Colt quoted Sterling Archer in Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I'm like, have you guys been reading my dream journal again? Come on. So yeah, but there are a couple of things that I feel like might be drawbacks here, and I'm glad that we're doing this over Skype so that Jason can't stab me directly in the lungs.
You tread lightly.
The first is that while this game is only $15 on Xbox Live Arcade, I'm gonna tell you right now, I did everything in this game, like every achievement, picked up every single thing on the map, liberated every fort, every mission. My total gameplay time was about 7 hours, a little over 7 hours. So, and once, like you had said before, once you squeezed all of the blood out of that rock, like there isn't a whole lot of reason to ever boot this back up again. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll go back and reset my save date and just start over and play it again. But it's not the sort of thing that I think you're going to want to feel like you have to come back to over and over and over again. That and there are some humorous elements in this game which I did not care for.
You're stupid.
I know. Specifically, the loading screens and there's some stuff with the HUD talking to you in this game where the game seems to be in on the joke, and I don't like it when my satire does that.
The loading screens were perfect. You're just wrong about that. It was amazing. That's the fourth time I've said amazing. I'm not going to say it again. Yeah, the loading screens, it was hysterical. What is it? God, give me an example of one.
It would be like, press jump button to go higher or run so that you can go faster or something like that.
Yeah, running is like walking, but faster.
Yeah.
And little tips like that. They were just very dry and stupid, and they were funny. I thought they were really funny.
I just wanted it. I wanted it to play straight. And that's just how I prefer my satire. So it pulled me out of it a little bit because I would have much rather had the things about, like the tooltips about running be describing how Mark IV Cyber Commando's legs were engineered from, cyborg cheetah blood from the second Antarctic Wars of 1989 or whatever, or something like that. I just wasn't. Especially that tutorial at the beginning. I think that was probably my least favorite part, was just straight up the tutorial at the beginning that went on for so long.
You mean the greatest tutorial that was ever conceived for video games?
Yeah, you can have it. You can keep it, Jason. I don't want it.
I will. I'm gonna. Because the whole time your character, I'm not going to spoil it. It was hysterical and really set the game off on the right foot.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's these are little things. These are very little things which, just got on my nerves a little bit. But other than that, yeah, between the cutscenes, the music, the dialogue, the fucking ridiculous storyline with the Cyber Dragon blood. I mean, what the fuck? This is absolutely
bioweapons and just these blood dragons that shoot lasers out of their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Blood Dragon don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, I guess it's worth noting that, like in Far Cry 3, you had the ability to take down these checkpoints, or like a garrison essentially that you could clear out with guys and essentially make your own garrison, make a friendly garrison. You're tasked to do that in this game. But one of the ways that you could do it is by taking cyborg hearts and throwing them to lure these cyborg laser beam shooting dragons in to just wreck shit while you stand up on top of a building and go, dumb robots. Outside of that, there's not really too much else to talk about with this game. There's some leaderboards. There's a whole codex that you open up, different kind of humorous articles about the tapes that you pick up and TVs and stuff like that. This whole alternate universe world that Blood Dragon has put together. But other than that, I mean, it's just pretty straightforward shooter. Still, though, I can't express enough that this is so much better than any kind of dumb, we put out 6 multiplayer maps for Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
And you don't have to have Far Cry 3 in order to play it. We should be very clear about that.
Yes. So I think that's about it. What do you want? You want to give it a rating?
Let's give it a rating. Yes.
Give it a rating.
I was a little torn on this one. I can't quite do it just for a number of my internal criteria. It is a glorious experience. It's just long enough. Probably not one that I'm going to revisit anytime soon, though. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely loved it. I'm going to give it a very, very high full price.
Okay. I am going to give it just a regular old full price. I feel like this is I think that it's one of those weird situations where if you look at this like on paper from a really objective standpoint, $15 may be a little bit much to pay for a 7-hour rehash of Far Cry 3, but oh god, all the rest of it totally makes up for that. So it's totally an experience that you should have, and $15 is just about the right price point for it. Like I said, though, if you're looking, if you're the sort of person who wants $15 to buy you the greatest downloaded game of all time, this may not be it, but goddamn, is it ever close? Goddamn, is it ever close? So,
yes. Okay.
Now comes the good question, Jason.
What's that?
When do we get to see the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon movie? And if it's not in development, are you willing and able to direct it yourself?
I'm on it. Let's do it.
Okay.
I can probably do it tonight.
Quick, to the Kickstarter.
He's on a desperate mission to bring down a battalion of ruthless killer cyborgs and save the world.
Lights out, Rex.
Michael Biehn is Sergeant Rex Power Colt in this year's most thrilling, action-packed cyber adventure. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.